Hi, I am Amalia Moreno Damgard for the Minnesota Beef Council. We are in my kitchen today and I am so excited because I am cooking with one of my favorite cuts of beef. I am going to tell you what I'm making today, and that is a dish from my home country called Salpicon. Salpicon also is popular in other Latin American countries, but everyone makes it their own. What I like to do is I like to start with a nice cut of flank steak, and the reason I chose a flank steak is because it's a very lean piece of meat. Lean means lower calories, and I like that. My waist likes that as well. But it's also a very tough cut that often is sliced against the grain because otherwise it's very hard to chew. But this is another thing you can do with it. So let me show you how easy this is. So we are going to season the beef with garlic powder, salt and pepper. I'm putting on my gloves so I can get in there really well. And what is important here is you want to rub the meat very well so that the seasonings get in there really well. So adding plenty of pepper, and now I am going to rub it like this. You can do this the day before. You can do this an hour before. If you want longer marinating the meat, you can even do it 2 days before. So I am going to do the other side and repeat. Use the rest of the salt and the garlic powder and more pepper. So this is very simple. Marinating, this is a dry rub that is also very common in Latin cooking. It's also referred to as an adobo. Now I am going to add some oil. I'm going to divide about 2 teaspoons of oil, rub it on the meat. The reason I am adding the oil is because this is a very dry piece of meat. We're not frying the meat. This is going to help with stay moist and with the browning. So it really disappears in there almost as soon as you put it. So it's not going to be a lot of oil for that reason, because we don't want to change the cooking process. So we're starting with a very hot griddle or non-stick skillet or any kind of white skillet that you may have at home. And the reason why I want to start with a hot griddle is that you speed up the process and you start searing the meat as soon as you put it there. So we're going to go and put it in, and voila, it's going to go in for 10 minutes on this side. And while the meat is searing, you can use that time to prep the rest of the ingredients. And I am going to move over here and I am going to tell you what those ingredients are. So this is a salad, again, that has beef and has fresh ingredients. And it can be a one-meal dish. It's absolutely wonderful. We're going to start with sliced red onions, chopped radishes, quartered cherry tomatoes, and I chose to use colorful tomatoes because this gives this salad that summer feel, and it looks prettier. This is an optional ingredient. These are minced hot peppers. I chose jalapenos. So I slice them first and then I chop them to mince them. But you can also use any other kind of hot pepper, habanero, serrano, and so on. How much do you use? As much as you want to. I like my meat spicy, but other people may not like that. So I am going to use half of it. And then I'm going to use some mint. And this is mint that I have cut into ribbons or chiffonade. You can also chop it. How much? As much or as little as you want. You can actually increase the ingredients to make this more vegetable versus beef, or you can decrease the vegetables. So this is a very versatile dish as well. So I am going to season it with a little bit of salt, keeping in mind that I have already seasoned the steak, so that has already has salt. And then I am going to add some lime juice, and I am going to use the juice of one lime. And this is basic flavorings in Latin cooking. So I have this ready to go. I am going to move this out of the way so I can prepare for the next step. So it's been about 10 minutes. We are going to turn the beef over, and we are looking to brown it somewhat. It doesn't have to be very dark brown, but it's important to cook it as much as you want to, because we're going to be chopping it. So it's got a nice sear mark, and now to cook it through, we are going to cover it, and we're going to cook it for another 10 minutes. So we're going to let that cook, and I want to show you what it looks like once it has cooked on both sides. The meat is actually 70% water, so during the cooking time, it is going to shrink quite a bit. We're sort of evaporating the water. And so in the process of cooking it this way, we are also developing flavor from the browning, caramelizing the sugars in the meat, and this is going to be a delicious cut. You could actually slice it against the grain and serve it this way with potatoes in a salad. It's ready to go, but we're just going to extend it a little bit more and make it into a delicious summer Latin salad. So I have my food processor on my right, and a key to chopping on a food processor, especially meat, is that you want to cut the meat into small, say about 2-inch chunks, once the meat has cooled down completely. The reason why it's important to cut it into small chunks is because we are going to be processing the meat or chopping it in small batches. And it's important to also chop it in small batches so that we don't end up with meat mush. And that is true for vegetables as well. So I have the meat already cut, and I am going to move my food processor down here. Now that I have the rest of my ingredients there. And I am going to take about half of this steak. I'm going to turn it on, and using my pulsing button, I'm going to pulse the meat. so I can see how much I am chopping the meat. So once I have chopped it to the right consistency, you can see it right there, we're going to throw it on top of the vegetables, and then we repeat with the rest of the meat. I will get this out of the way, and we'll chop again. This is how you can control the chopping. You see how beautiful that is? Okay. Move this out of the way again. And I am going to combine all my ingredients. You can see how colorful this is. Does that look delicious or what? This is one of my favorite ways of eating beef. We started with a very low fat cut of meat, flank steak, and we added very little oil just to cook it. We're adding no more fat. In fact, we are using lime juice to season it, and that is basically it. So the flavor between the lime juice, the hot peppers, and the rest of the ingredients, it's the bomb. I love this salad. It's versatile, and you can serve it in so many different styles. So when you make this, you want to make it and eat it preferably the day you make it. Why? Because the ingredients in there, mainly the tomatoes, start becoming a little mushy if you let it go a little bit longer. They're not going to be bad. It's just for freshness, it's best to eat it the day of. So at this time, if you're going to serve this for lunch, you could put saran wrap around it, put it in the refrigerator. An hour later, you can come back and plate it. How do you plate it? It's your choice. So you can plate it in individual salad plates over salad greens, or you can plate it on a platter and serve it that way and let your guests help themselves to the salad. And this is the way it looks. If you're cooking for one or two, you can cook the whole steak, chop it, divide it in two, freeze half of it and use the other half, and that will be enough for at least 2 meals. Keep in mind that you will have to adjust the amount of vegetables. This is a delicious salad that can be served in individual portions, but another thing that you can do is that you can heat up some corn tortillas, and you can actually scoop portions of this delicious salpicon onto the tortillas and eat it like a taco, and then top it with the salad greens, and it's the bomb. It's absolutely wonderful. You are going to love it. I guarantee it.